So yesterday we discussed the virtual land boom and we touched on Web3. So today we're going to make sense of Web3. Is this a buzzword? Is this hype? Or is this the revolution of the internet? Or the natural evolution of the internet? Well, tech moguls, tech investors, and other participants in the space, they're arguing about it over social media like Twitter, and they're even starting up legal funds to protect their interests. If you stay till the end, I'll give you my opinion about whether or not this is all hype and what I think the outcome's going to be. But first, I want to say welcome back to How About That Crypto. I'm your host, Bitcoin Stylist on Twitter and Bitcoin Hairstylist on Instagram. You are watching daily crypto updates and news in 10 minutes. Our mission at crypto.com, howaboutthatcrypto.com, is simplifying and making more accessible the world of crypto, Web3, and digital assets. So just to be clear and litigious, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please like, subscribe, follow. There's links in the link tree. It'll take you to YouTube. It really helps support me and it means a lot. But more importantly, I would like your feedback. Let me know how I'm doing. Am I making it easier to understand and more accessible? And just so you know, like over time, I expect that this stuff will layer on. You shouldn't expect to get it all right away. So at least you can follow the majority of what I'm saying and kind of pick up the rest as you go. All right, today's edition of Daily Crypto News and Updates in 10 minutes with Bitcoin Stylist on howaboutthatcrypto.com. We are talking Web3, revolution, hype, and what's the latest. All right, so first let's recap. The virtual land boom is being driven by speculation. Yesterday we talked about that. I'm just starting a timer here so that I can pay attention to y'all's time. All right. So yesterday there are actual fundamentals driving the land boom we discussed. It was a lot to unpack yesterday. So I'm just going to do a real recap. So primarily the utility of the land that's booming and being sold and bought in is fueled by speculation, but that speculation has underlying fundamentals. And those fundamentals have to do with utility. How is this stuff being used? Well, it's being used by games primarily. That's the number one driver. Social interactions and concerts, like virtual concerts. Virtual education is an application that's being applied to it, which is kind of really cool. People from all over the world can get together in a classroom and have access to stuff like this, AR, VR stuff. Legal services, a lot of legal offices and accounting services for crypto-related businesses are going to be utilizing the land to see customers. Crypto exchanges are going to provide services in these metaverse lands, and marketing events for all of the above. Well, so this next phase of the internet and this utilizing of this metaverse and all this stuff, well, all this stuff is called what is being commonly referred to as Web3. It's hotly contested. In the news, Jack Dorsey, who is the former CEO of Twitter and CEO of Square, who just changed Square to Block to focus on his Bitcoin initiative. And there's Andreessen Horowitz, which is a tech investment firm and who's like really kind of out there leading the charge in the space. And Andreessen Horowitz blocked Jack Dorsey on Twitter because Jack Dorsey says that Web3 is all a bunch of BS and venture capitalists and there's no decentralization. And Elon Musk agrees with that. Well, the rest of the space thinks it's obvious that the tech of blockchain and crypto will integrate to create this new version of Web3. So you have people like Jack Dorsey, who's a Bitcoin maximalist, meaning he thinks that everything is Bitcoin, there's nothing else, everything's a joke, but he did sell some NFTs, so maybe that was a momentary lapse of judgment, because that wouldn't have been done on the Bitcoin blockchain. That would have been done with another coin. So I digress. All right, so where does that leave us? Well, first, in order to understand Web3, maybe we should talk about how do we get to Web3? What is Web 1, Robert? What is Web 2? Web 1 is like dial-up internet, sending emails, looking at websites, message boards, basically asynchronous. I send you something, it gets to me, I post something somewhere, or I put up a website. Well, that was it. You needed to know where you wanted the information to go. Web 2 is like social networks, search engines, so like the ability to actually navigate the internet, the ability to communicate directly with people and form your little groups, and real-time communication, like this, like you're watching me live right now. The ability to pay, so like back in Web 1.0, Pizza Hut was, I think it was Pizza Hut, the first company that you could order a pizza online, but you couldn't pay for it. That was Web 1. Web 2 is when you could pay for it, when you could watch the little tracker go along and seeing your pizza being made, and then see the little car moving along. That's Web 2.0. That's basically where we're at. Okay, so Web 3, how do we get better than that? And how does it change and evolve? How is tech going to go from there? So Web 3, you have regular people who own pieces of the internet, like Facebook and Google. So Facebook and Google own this massive network, and you can go on it, and they monetize your data. Well, the difference is here that you would actually control your data. Any interactions you have with the blockchain would be yours, and the information, you could decide what to do with it. I'm just telling you what the ideas are here. So I'm not telling you what it is. I'm telling you what, with my research, this is what I found. So I just want to make sure that's clear. Okay, so imagine you want to move your contacts and your networks from Facebook onto Snapchat or TikTok. Then how do you do that? You know, some of the times you can move like your contacts from your phone. If you sign up with Facebook, which integrates, you can move some of your data, but not all of your data. You know, what data does Facebook have that you want to pull over or not want them to have? You have no control, because that's a centralized entity that has a bottleneck of power and control over that data. You're using their service, so they can decide what to do with it, unless Congress has a say. But like, you don't really have a say. You can cast a vote and hope Congress works, but you know, I digress. All right, so continue to move on. CBS News reports that it's hype and a revolutionary shift of the internet at the same time. It could be the early days with 5 to 10 years of growth, or we could be in a bubble and the bubble is burst and everything's on its way down, and that's it. Like, it's going to be over. So I think that we're probably somewhere in between. But before I get into my opinion, I just want to like make sure that I do a little bit more explaining of Web3 for anybody who doesn't really understand what I'm saying. Okay, so I took some notes here. All right. We will decide what data we want on the blockchain and want to be able to move around different platforms. So like I said, like the best example is moving your Facebook data to a new social media platform, and not necessarily because you want to take it away from Facebook, although if you own it, you can take it and they don't get to keep it. So will they, you know, what does that look like? I don't know. I'm just telling you, that's the whole concept of it. So you can pull your data away. Now, imagine if you can pull your data, they get to keep it, but you still get to take your data. So like, for me, like we have a talk show for hairdressers. We talk about professional development, and all that. A lot of our information is on Facebook and Instagram, and there's information that I would like to pull off of Instagram and put into another ecosystem to figure out how to like reach a wider audience, and I can't do that. I have to like go through and like figure out how to pull the data manually from the system, and that's just, you know, I don't know, that to me is super annoying, but it is what it is. Well, in this instance, ideally I would be able to say, okay, I want to pull all these contacts and, you know, anybody who's engaged with my platform within a certain period of time, and so that's an example. So some things that you might want on a blockchain, which would integrate into the internet, and basically you're talking about just integrating things into the internet, the ability to have your own ecosystem. So like a good example I like to give is Starbucks rewards. If you have a Starbucks app, you use the app to purchase, and then you get rewards, and those rewards are a form of currency. They are digital currency in Starbucks app. So therefore, you can use that currency or your rewards points. It's all semantics kind of. So you can use those to buy coffee or other goods or a book, I guess, in Starbucks. I don't know. Whatever you can buy with those rewards. Well, it's the same thing. I mean, basically, that you could consider that a cryptocurrency. It's just not on a blockchain. That's why we don't call it crypto, but it's a form of digital money. It's a digital asset. Well, imagine if you wanted to trade your Starbucks rewards for Delta Sky Miles. You cannot do that. You can't sell your Sky Miles to get more Starbucks rewards so you can drink more coffee because you decide with COVID you're done flying. Whatever it is, you don't have those choices. You don't. So in Web3, you have the decision to move your points from one card to another, or your reward loyalty rewards to another. That's the easiest application I can explain to you, and I feel like most people can relate to that. Okay, moving on. So things that might be on the blockchain that you might like are, like I've talked about, touched on this, is driver's license, your home and car title, event tickets, concerts, stuff like that would be integrated into the blockchain. Now we're getting into my opinion about what I see for the future. So thanks for waiting to the end. I know I'm running a little over. Games, virtual offices, goods, services will likely evolve to use Web3. But Metaverse doesn't need to use blockchain to exist. But those metaverses that don't use blockchain, anything you pay for, you'll have to keep there. This reduces your choice to move from one platform to the other. Think Uber versus Lyft. If sometimes I get so irritated with Uber's fees and they had a culture that really wasn't good, and a lot of people wanted to leave. But if there was no Lyft and you have to use Uber to get to work once a week because you got to drop off your kid or whatever, and the taxi cabs are not that reliable. They've never really been that reliable when you order them. So you still want someone to come pick you up. Well, you're stuck. Well, you don't right now. You're stuck with Facebook or you're stuck with Google. You can cancel it and start over. But in Web3, you can move stuff around and you have choices. And so yeah, I think that my personal opinion is that Web3 is a natural evolution of the internet. It's not going to change everything. You're just going to have an app, and you're going to be able to kind of utilize that to move the things that you want to keep around on the internet and have a little bit more control. And of course, there's a lot more other applications, but anyway. So what do you think? Do you think Web3 makes sense? Do you think that it's a natural evolution of the internet? Do you think that it's cool to be able to move your Starbucks rewards and trade them for your Delta Sky Miles so that you can have more choices? Or do you think that it's just a bunch of BS and it's a bubble and it's going to pop? Let me know how you feel. Please like, subscribe. It helps support me. I'm trying to get these things under 10 minutes, so please, I apologize. I respect your time, and I'm working on it. It's just a lot of information to unpack. So anyway, hodl on. Have a good day.